and our interviewee. So please join me in welcoming Seddik. Welcome, Seddik.
Hi, everyone.
We're so happy to have you with us.
Well, I'm really happy to be here. Hello, Ariella. Hello, people. Thank you for having me in your webinar. And excited and nervous a little bit, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's all of us, always.
Yeah, we all get nervous at some point.
This is so true. So, Seddik, I think you are a new face for many people here, and we didn't give any bio ahead of time. We just said we had a social media manager joining us.
Yeah.
So, please introduce yourself to the group.
Okay, so my name is Seddik. I am 25 years old. My birthday was 4 days ago. Happy birthday to me.
Newly 25.
Yeah, nearly 25. And I've been a social media manager for, let's say, 4 years.
Okay.
Yes, I'm also a proud Student Leaders Program alumni. Hello, MAPIs, if MAPIs are here in the webinar with us.
Oh my gosh, amazing. I think you're going to get some questions about that. I didn't know that either.
Definitely.
Okay. So tell
My
us,
pleasure.
Seddik, if you're 25 and you've been a social media manager for 4 years, my brilliant mathematical mind tells me that you became or started working in social media when you were only 21.
Exactly.
Can you tell us how this happened?
Yeah. So I didn't expect myself to end up in working like in social media. I studied law for like 1 year, and then I was like, this is not my path. So then I changed and I studied like 3 years in sociology. But then again, I was like, interesting, but not that much. And then knowing that I studied in Skikda, so it's really far from Algiers, I moved to Algiers in July 1st, like 2019. And I joined an advertisement agency the 4th of July 2019. And yeah, that's where I started. So I started as a community manager. And then I evolved into becoming a social media manager, which is I'm still learning right now because it's so much to grasp and so much to learn.
Okay. So tell us, even right now, you introduced community manager and now social media manager. What do these jobs entail? What did you do as a community manager versus what do you do now as a social media manager?
So what do you do basically as a community manager is basically handling a business or an entity or an organization online. So it all happens in social media. And as a community manager, you manage a community. So it's as easy as that, as simple as that. So you interact with the people who make that community and you exchange with them, you create conversations, you participate in the creation of the content, the ideas of the content that is posted on social media. You participate in the thinking process and the strategy making of social media campaigns. And that's what you do basically as a social media manager, a community manager, sorry. As well as reporting and all the rest. But as a social media manager and in my own experience, you kind of shift into the thinking and less in the executive thing. So you do less talking with the community and responding to comments, to DMs, posting, scheduling posts, and more into the strategy thinking of a social media campaign, the content ideas creation, brainstorming with the team, organizing the team, managing the team. So it's more like a top view kind of job. So it's less on field with the fans and more top view.
Okay, maybe a little more like strategy,
Exactly.
long-term planning.
Exactly.
Okay, very
Yeah.
cool.
And follow up as well, because you need to have an eye outside to evaluate and analyze if your social media campaigns are doing good, what should be adjusted, what should be edited, modified, whatsoever.
Okay, very cool. So my next question, I want to switch directions a little bit and talk about English, because this is a English for specific purposes class. We've been talking acronyms, different vocabulary.
Yep.
First of all, how did you learn the English you speak today? I know we have people here who just want English learning tips, but also, was it hard to master the English that you needed for social media? What was that journey like?
So to start, learning English was not that difficult for me, because I believe it's all about the environment you live in, your friends' environment, your family. My dad kind of inspired me, because he used to teach me song lyrics in English, like really old songs, Bob Dylan, etc. And then I myself started like playing video games in English, reading books in English, music, movies, series. So you kind of push yourself to dive in that English environment to like, you don't give your mind any choice but to learn that and only that. And in Algeria, it's a little bit difficult for most people, because we grow up in kind of a French-speaking environment, but there are more and more English speakers out there, and my father was one of the first.
Amazing. That's so inspiring that he was already
Thank you.
helping you even before it was so popular.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before it was cool.
Before it was cool. You get to go,
Exactly.
I did it before it was cool, you guys. So what about for social media? Does it feel, or when you started, did it feel like it was another language, or did it feel natural, easy? What was that like?
The social media language generally felt kind of natural, but some specific terms such as reach, impressions, view rate, click-through rate, and all those KPIs about performance of posts, it wasn't that natural. Like, I had to learn things all over again. For example, I was watching earlier, and you mentioned one of the acronyms, not acronyms, one of the vocabulary social media words that I didn't like. At first, I didn't understand it. I thought it was something else, but then at work, I mistakenly sent another word to a client, thinking it's that, but it wasn't.
Oh, no.
So I had to correct. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of funny stories about that.
So it really, in some ways, it has developed its own like specialized language for social media.
Exactly. Like, it's good to have the general English, but you know, having the proper vocabulary is a must, not just for interacting with your English-speaking audience, but like, for my experience, I had to deal with clients that are not French or Arabic speakers, so it's a must. So, and especially when the clients are specialized in marketing and they only use specified words for certain concepts, you need to know those words. Like, it's a must. It's not even a choice.
It's like a jargon. They come in with the jargon. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is these days to speak English if you want to work in social media in Algeria, for example? Like, are most social media managers now Anglophone, or is it becoming more important? What is the trend?
So the trends, I would say, are 60 to 40%. So 60%
Okay.
are English speakers, 40% are French speakers, and English
Okay.
speakers sometimes. But I believe it depends deal with, because in my case, I started working in, like, the first agency I started working in demanded and required English, because the clients the agency deals with are only English speakers. And
Okay.
one of those clients were Coca-Cola. I worked on Coca-Cola Algeria for like a year, and I had to deal with English speakers from South Africa, from Egypt, from Morocco, and those peoples don't necessarily master French. So I would say
Okay.
English really opens a lot of doors for you in
Okay.
terms of opportunities and work opportunities in this specific field.
Okay. Very cool. Uh, I wonder, have you been seeing more influencers start to use English in their content? Or is English mostly happening with clients behind the scenes? Because for me, online, as an American living in Algeria, I don't see very many people writing in English yet, except for a few. How do you feel about this?
Well, I think a lot of influencers are really starting to adopt English in their
Yeah.
communication,
Okay.
but not really as like full speech of English, but they
Mm-hmm.
might slide some words here and there, like some English words when they
Mm-hmm.
communicate. And I like as a in a general overview of Algerian social media, I would say that most young communities are interested and speak English. So it's
Okay.
strictly uh, to young audiences, like
I see.
from 16 to 26 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like these really master English.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we're going to see this shift then continue because this group is going to start to dominate, and
yeah,
and more of the consumers will be English speakers in Algeria.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, because we can also notice a lot of decrease in using, for example, French language and other
Okay.
languages, and more of an increase in using English
Okay.
when interacting in social media, especially when using slang or
Yeah.
interactions like "I know, right? LOL, be right back."
Yes, the acronyms, because you can't
Yeah,
really translate an acronym. It wouldn't work.
exactly. That's English.
Okay. That's English. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to ask your opinion. And guys, if you have questions, feel free to write them in the chat. But my next question for you, Seddik, yeah, like this. My next question for you was about social media platforms. So we talked in the beginning, we talked about a few different platforms, and everyone had heard of the normal ones like Instagram and Facebook. We talked about Reddit. Someone said that's just in the US, which I think might be true. We introduced LinkedIn. What platforms do you see as the major ones in Algeria? And are you seeing any shifts, any new platforms, or like older ones that aren't being used as much?
Well, I would say the most used one in Algeria is definitely Facebook. I'm
Okay.
not sure of the latest statistics, but I'm sure that in 2021, almost 17 million users in Algeria on Facebook, almost
Wow.
17 million. And then in second position, I would say it's Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would say TikTok, because TikTok is used a lot by Algerian audiences. Like finding a Facebook video with 1 million views is considered as whoa, that's a lot. But on TikTok,
Yeah.
you can find content that generates like over 10 million views, easy. And it's starting
Yeah.
to get even more used. Yeah. And then Snapchat,
We
maybe.
learned, is Snapchat still a thing?
Not for me. I don't use it.
Okay. I was going to say that we learned this, not, well, I was going to say the hard way. It wasn't hard, but we put some videos on TikTok that spontaneously reached millions of views last fall. And I have to say, it was a crazy experience. And for me, I don't know if that would happen in the US. I have the feeling that in Algeria, people really, really engage on social media.
Oh yeah,
They like content. They're easy with the like button. They're quick to comment. They're quick to DM. I don't have
yeah,
the statistics on it, but I notice a real difference in social media behavior
yeah.
here versus in the US.
And what you can notice in Algeria, and this is very specific to North Africa, but especially
Okay.
Algeria, is the rise of what we call Facebook armies. So there are very
Oh.
known Facebook groups with like over 60,000 people,
Mm-hmm.
up to like
Okay.
500,000, and they consider themselves as an army because they ally around a certain cause or a certain topic, and or a certain person as an influencer, and
Yeah.
they interact as a group, as an army, in a certain context. So they go to a page of another influencer and they respond
Mm-hmm.
as a group. So that's how much the
Mm.
concept of community evolved in Algerian social media. It's like they're really united.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. Why do you think that that's the case in Algeria? Is it something cultural that just translates differently on social media than other countries?
definitely. It's purely cultural, in my opinion. It's really cultural.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like people like to support each other, to feel connected, something like that.
exactly, exactly. That's what they would do
Okay.
basically in a football match or a music concert, or
Mm,
yeah, or when a movie is showing in the movies. So they would
okay.
move as a group and interact as a group.
Okay. That's so cool. So I didn't know they were called Facebook armies, but I did know that there are some groups. Like there's one that's like the best and the worst spots in Algeria, and it's a big like reviews
Yeah,
group, and I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
100,000 or more, I think,
yeah.
people.
And they're really influential on social media. Like
Yeah.
being a restaurant owner and finding myself on one of those groups with a negative review, nah, I
Okay.
wouldn't I wouldn't want that, honestly, because
Okay.
they're so influential that they change consumers' minds about certain restaurants.
Okay.
And a lot of restaurants are, and businesses, not just restaurants,
Yeah.
are taking it more seriously and taking it more into consideration in their
Hmm.
business prospects. And
Okay.
they start interacting with those people, trying to convince them with I don't know, maybe gifts, maybe trying to change their mind somehow, just to get that negative
Interesting.
review off social media because it's bad for their image.
So they themselves like try to join the conversation, like respond, join the group, like they have an
Yeah,
advocate in the group.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Wow.
I remember working on a project for a really famous um, detergent brand, and
Okay.
that brand got featured in one of these groups, and the post had like 18,000 reactions, 6,000 comments, and it was about a
Oh,
girl who kind of misused the product and
okay.
had her health affected by it. And we had to
Mm,
intervene because it was getting kind of out of hand, and a lot of people were
wow.
sharing the same story on other groups. So it's like it's a
Okay.
virus spreading all over social media, and you have to act fast. And
Wow.
that's when the whole agency team switches to crisis management. So we let go of
Okay.
like any emergencies we have. Not important. We
Okay.
focus only on that.
Yeah.
And how to fix it, we get in touch with the person. We
Wow.
try to convince her that no, it's not the product that's not good for your health, but
Mm,
you kind of misused it, and we convince her to
mm-hmm.
take it off social media. So it's really important. It's really important for
Wow, I
businesses.
had no idea. These
Yeah,
random groups, they become huge, like consumer influencers. Okay,
definitely.
interesting.
Yeah.
Um, I see we're nearing the end of the time, so I had two more questions.
Okay.
Well, what's my top question? Okay, I wanted to ask for anyone who wants to become a social media manager, what advice do you give for people looking to enter the field? Like, should they be mini influencers? Like they're super good at managing their own page, that's part of their resume? Should they, what kind of things do you look for?
Well, it really depends on what they want to do, because if you're willing to promote your own self, your own brand, your own image, well, you can aspire to become a micro influencer and then evolving and
Okay.
growing growing your community. But in my
Okay.
case, I just wanted to put my creative ideas on the field and see them outside and see people interact about them and
Okay.
rally around them.
Mhm.
Um, and one advice I can give is learn by yourself. Like it's been 4 years and I'm working the job of my dreams, my dream job. And
Mhm.
I can promise you that I never learned about it in school or university. I never
Yeah.
I never did a training except from some workshops about
Mhm.
being like working in social media. So it was only like massive online open courses. Um, I practiced community management in the associative field, working for associations, NGOs. Um,
Okay.
that's how you start. That's how you start. And
Okay.
that's what's precious about these modern day jobs, because you don't necessarily need to learn them in school, although it's always great to study them in university, but
Yeah.
um, it's not as efficient as learning them on the field.
You need the real life scenario, I think,
Yeah,
when it comes to some
because
of these jobs. Hmm.
Yeah, because as much as I thought I knew about social media and working as a
Hmm.
social media manager, reality was a whole different thing. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So thank you for the advice. I'm sure that will come in handy for everyone interested.
You're welcome.
My last question for you is actually um, something we were just talking about right before the interview started, which was the negative effect of social media. And we didn't get to go into this as much as I wanted, but I wanted to talk to people about how do you manage social media and limit its negative effect in your life. So having your phone on you constantly, or spending hours and hours watching videos, feeling depressed because you're comparing yourself, all those negative effects that we know about. Do you struggle with this since social media is your job, that you find you're online constantly? Or is it kind of because it's your job, you're really only online for your job and you have good boundaries? How do you manage that?
Well, I honestly am nowadays I'm barely online, even if it's my job. And I only get online
Okay.
to get inspired by others' work or other brands' work, or to be informed of the latest news, like about influencers, about politics, about economy, about anything that's related to my job and to the brand I work for. But I would say if I could give an advice to people is do not try to surround yourself in social media with only positive content because you would unconsciously get yourself to believe that this is reality and
Hmm.
you would be detached from what reality really is. So don't it's a bad idea. It's really a bad idea to just like get away from every negative content. Like keep it normal as in real life. So it's also good to have not necessarily bad content or content like you would not really like to be on your feed. Keep everything because that's what life is made of after all. It's both positive and negative. And I think that's how you do not lose conscience of what reality is. Because a lot of time spent on your phone, it's really bad thing. It's a really bad thing. And even in our job, we try to avoid that. Like personally, I cannot work on my laptop for over 30 minutes without taking a 10 minutes break because I need that time away from screens to focus and like stay creative and stay energized. Voila.
Okay. Amazing. Really good advice. No, I'm going to take that advice too. Yeah, I
Thank you.
like it. Try to make your social media reflective of the reality of life so you don't get
Exactly.
lost or confused. And
Yep.
get off your phone every once in a while, or maybe a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Get off your phone.
All
Yeah.
right.
Don't be on your phone. It's a bad idea.
You guys, you heard it from a social media manager himself. Put your phones down, look away from the screens. Of course, not while I'm giving a Zoom class, but at other times. Anyways, thank you, Seddik. Thank you for coming. I speak for all of us when I
Welcome.
say this
You're
was a
most welcome.
wonderful, wonderful interview. We're so happy to have you. Thank you to
Thank
all the
you.
participants. That closes our class. We'll see you guys all next week. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone. Thank you,
everyone.
Seddik.
Bye.
Like a year ago.